If you saw the last video we posted about Clara, you'll notice that it reached like 49,000 views, which is insane. So I sat down with the founder of Clara at that time and we discussed what the future was. And now they've cooked again. So I had to go see what they've been up to. And that's what you're about to see now as well. If you're new to the channel, my name is Hamish and I help anyone really own AI through open source technology. We also cover robotics, automation, and a lot of cool emerging technology on this channel. And if that sounds like your cup of tea, why not hit that like, share, and subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything that we do. Right, let's get on with the video.
You might have seen before. So that is completely isolated now. You can actually ditch Ollama for this. And this will be a separate app that you can install on Windows, Mac, or Linux. And you will get Llama CPP with downloader. You can download GGUFs directly. You will have configurations. And also, the best part is it will detect which GPU that you're running on and what kind of system that you're using and what is the optimal way to run a model, even the bigger ones. For example, my computer just runs 24 GB, right? Like the graphics card. So if I just try to run a GLM Air, which is around like 80 gigabytes, so it will try to, optimize itself and try to offload the tensors. You don't need to go and look for that configuration line anymore. So basically, it's an Ollama for Llama CPP with more freedom instead of, going and searching for the models in the Ollama webpage. Like you just go to downloader and you just download it and it handles everything for you. And that's something that we have done now. And also you can manage all the updates and all those things. So if Llama CPP gives an update for, let's say, Qwen 3 next, you will get the update here. So basically it's like Ollama on steroids. So this is embedded inside. And also, you would have seen all those MCP tools and all those things. I'll just
Yes,
skip it right away.
yes.
Yeah. So this is where we have done the lot of updates. Everybody asks for remote deployment, right? So now the coolest part is like now you can just point it to any, remote server that is running on SSH. It might be anything. For example, I'm just running this Raspberry Pi. What I will do is I just wanted to, have this N8N on my Raspberry Pi. I can just type its password and just deploy it, and it'll just ask whatever that you wanted to do with it. And it will do the deployment for you. For example, if you have a remote system, it doesn't have Docker, it will do that. If you don't have NVIDIA toolkit, it will do that for you. And make sure that everything runs, and then it will deploy this on your remote system instead of running on your system. Why we did this is like the apps in development.
Yes.
So we are trying to create something like, the state. For example, your chats are private, it shouldn't be stored somewhere else. Instead, it should be stored in your PC. Only the inference has to happen on some remote servers. So what we thought is like we already have Windows, we already have Linux and Mac clients now, and we are going to also publish Android and iOS client. So there is no requirement for it to be running on a browser. You can do that probably again with a Docker container, but we thought that why should it be stored somewhere remote? So we thought like, okay, we'll just wrap it up every compute related or scheduled one or the things that needs to run for a long time, goes and deploys on a different system, and then automatically everything is, handled for you. So if this deployment goes completely like, deploys successfully, you can just go to your N8 tab and it will just connect with Raspberry Pi.
So let's say, for example, hey, if I had like a business and I had like multiple computers, right?
Yeah.
Then I could have one computer running Clara, and then I could
Yeah.
just have what this one Clara instance could then deploy and it into the other computers and do everything else that it needs to in order to offload everything, right?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
why you've done this. Okay, wow.
Yeah, exactly. So the data is still on your PC. So only the compute is shared. I don't want my chats to be, like I will even use my chat to, have a AI girlfriend or something, but I don't want that to be somewhere. Again, like we all say that it's local and all those things, but when it comes to the shared instance, I don't think so. It's pretty much local. Like, yeah, they will say that I own that remote PC and everything one so, but still it's there. So that makes me, like a kind of like, why? So I just made that change. Now each and every services has remote. You can deploy it on Docker, or you can deploy it manually and then attach your URL as well. So basically, like you can do any ways that you like. So I give all the flexibility to the user.
Are you going to open that up for, like, chaining LLM inference with multiple
Yeah,
devices as well?
yes, we can do that. In this current release, that is not available. But
Yeah.
since we run Clara Core, right? Clara Core will have that feature soon. Actually, this time, like this release from 0.2 to 0.3 is more focused over like splitting up the back end and the front end. Before it used to be a single binary file you install and Clara handles everything for you. So currently, it's kind of like you install the client and you choose where the compute has to happen. For example, Clara Core is running on local right now. If I'm running a remote server, I can just click on this and it just switches to the remote system. So every inference has happens there and the client stores it now. So now the next thing is like I can make changes to Clara Core backend and all those things, and also I can add more stuff still without affecting the client. So this is what the roadmap has been, and so 0.3 is all about like splitting Claraverse properly. And this is one of the bigger updates that we have done. And also there is one more bigger update that I have provided. Luma UI, right? Like it's
Yes.
from there from start, but never got time to mature and all. So now it's kind of matured. So now Lovable and Bolt, right? Any models on that. For example, if you have GLMR or something like that, which is
Mm.
pretty good, you cannot run it there, but for sure that would make a pretty good one, and also you have a lot of compute.
Mm.
So now it's basically a bolt. You can run it with any providers, to be honest, actually.
Okay.
And it has web containers. You can launch it on Netlify, and you can prompt your way through a pretty big application with the local LLMs as well as any external API that you would like. So currently my go-to is like there is this GLM ZAI providing that $3 option where
Yeah.
you get the API key and inference, right? So I was using that and was like pretty surprised about like how good it can do things. So you can build almost like a lot of applications here, and you get all the things that Bolt provides you. You get the terminal, and you get to deploy it on Netlify if you have an account, and you can share it with others what you create here. And also, like if you have any N8 backend, you can just ask the bot to just integrate it inside. And again, like your creativity is the limit here. So this is one of the huge update that we did this. And also this will be coming for the mobile as well. I just wanted to do that wipe coding thing whenever I need, like a tiny application when I need in the phone. Actually, I was looking for a good client and I couldn't find one on both Android and iOS. So we are just working again and we are rebuilding stuff. So this is one of the projects that we were working on, and you can export it as a zip, and it's basically Bolt, to be honest. Like it can do a lot of things. So that has been done, and
Yeah.
agents, right? So now we have templates. You can get started with downloading something, and it will have all those things for you, and you can get started from there. And also now agents has, let me save something.
This is awesome. Just a
So
quick question on Luma UI.
yeah,
Which local LLMs do you recommend that I test it with?
I have mentioned that already here. Like I know that would be the question. When 30B is good, instruct, to be honest, like it works.
Not Coda?
When it works, what is that?
Coda? Not Qwen 3 Coda, but Instruct specifically, right?
Yeah, instruct is good because like the coder is good when it comes to like you are giving some input and it just provides you some output. It's good. But I felt like when it comes to agentic task, this is much more better because it tends to stop the agentic flow much more faster than how coder used to do. So I just tested it with a lot of things. I think like when it comes to local model, still this guy is the best. And also it runs on CPU as well, as you know. It's just
Yeah.
3B, right? Like it
Yes.
just runs pretty fast. And when you wanted to work with Luma UI, the token per second is very important because it does a lot of things. For example, let me, just run something.
Yeah,
Um,
if we could build a like a test app, that would be awesome.
yeah, I'll just do that. Yeah.
And which quantization is this model right now?
Currently, I'm just running on Q4. I think like for
Okay.
everyone, Q4 KM is like the go-to standard right now.
Yes, yes,
So
yes, it is.
anybody can use that.
Oh, nice. I love that UI. It looks really good.
Most of the UI is like not so good, at least for us right now. So we are trying to fix it because I got a lot of, comments about the UI being like, janky. But yeah, I appreciate
I
it.
mean, it is definitely there can always be improvements, brother. But like for what it is right now, you guys are doing amazing.
Yeah, true, true, true. We are trying to make it better, but yeah, there is a lot of way to improve it. I know that for sure.
Yes. If
Yeah.
if we all had the budgets of OpenAI, then yeah, it'd be a different story, right? But we just don't.
Yeah, true. But still, it's one man thing. I haven't got any big team right now. Like I'm just working on it day and night. Like that's how it's been running right now. So let me see the
This is
logs.
this is amazing,
Yeah,
by the way. The whole fact that you've created your own inference engine, basically, and
yeah,
it's really good timing as well because Ollama's in really deep water right now with the fans because they haven't given the recognition to Llama CPP that they
yeah,
should have,
exactly.
and they haven't contributed back to open source. So it's definitely an interesting thing. A question on that, if I may, where do you
Yeah.
stand on Ollama Turbo? Have you tried it out yet?
No, I haven't tried that, but also I don't think so. I don't think so it's necessary in the first place. Like, why? If I wanted to run something local, I just do it on my system. And if I wanted something on cloud, I would just pay for open router, right? Like,
Right.
why? It's like when I pay for open router, my selection of model I get is like much more than what I would get right now. So it's pretty much,
Fair.
I don't think so they're going to do well. If they do well, that's good. But a lot of people are not a fan of Ollama, to be honest. Give
Okay.
it a second. I don't
Yeah,
know
that's
what's
okay.
happening.
That's fine. What
GPU
about
is spiking up like crazy.
Yeah, yeah, I can tell it's doing its thing. That's okay. How about things like what about other frameworks like Nexa? Nexa is really the almost unsung hero, if you like, right? What are your thoughts on platforms like that and LM Studio even?
LM Studio is pretty good when it comes to playing with LLMs and getting the right config and pushing LLMs to limit. And also you get to know like a lot of things from them. When it comes to LM Studio, they are doing one job and that job is right. Like all they do is they are not going to build some cloud or something like that. All they do is, at least for now, whatever I have been seeing them, it's
Yes.
basically they just try to run local models on your local machine and do it well. So that's what they do. And in that case, I think like they do a pretty good job. But when it comes to deployment and all those things, I don't think so. They hold up well. VLLM, right? So
Yes.
yeah, that's
Yes.
the name. Yeah, they are good in that case because they had support for QuenNext on it's like 0 day support. And also like, yeah, to be honest, like Llama CPP is just in the brink of like releasing one, but I think so. Like VLLM is pretty mature when it comes to CUDA. But Llama CPP supports a lot of backends, but it doesn't support all the newer models or something like that.
That's
And
right.
this new QuenNext has some new architectural change that is not supported by Llama CPP yet.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a not so good kind of thing. So in that case, they are good, but otherwise, I still prefer Llama CPP at any cost because it's just one model. They can fix it soon and we can use it. So I don't
Yeah.
mind that.
No, fair enough, bro. I guess but based off that, the biggest question I have to ask based off your Claraverse inference engine, is it
Yeah.
compatible with NPUs? Can NPUs use this?
I think it comes down to Llama CPP because it's built on top of Llama CPP, right? So if they are going to support it, it would support it. For now, Clara Core, basically Llama CPP runs on anything. But again, like there are versions that use NPUs that is available on this Copilot Plus PCs.
Yes. Which is what I have right now. I have the AI X1 Pro, the mini Spore, and that does have an NPU. But even with Llama CPP, I'm struggling to utilize it to its full potential.
Yeah,
Um,
it's because it's not mainstream yet.
yeah,
People are not actively trying to run on it. But when this space gets pretty mature, I think so people will support it and Clara course will support it because it's basically like this is just a sandwich between like, Llama VPP and Llama Swap and, old Clara versus AI and putting all together to make an UI that works for everyone. So like whenever Llama CPP supports it, I think like we can also support it because it's running on that.
okay.
And when it comes to us contributing on into Llama CPP, I think so. Like currently, I couldn't because it like already this is like too much of work for me, so we couldn't do that. But maybe in future, like once this gets mature, I think so. I will also get into all those things soon. But now I am pretty caught up, and they are doing a good job, and I can just appreciate. But I
Of course, no,
couldn't
of
work
course.
on that.
I totally understand where you're coming from. I mean, right now it is the GPU world, right? Our whole AI world is revolving around GPUs. Eventually, that
Yeah.
won't be the case, but right now that is where the monopoly is. So yeah, you're totally right for focusing on that, man. Like that's all good.
Yeah.
But at least you are on CPP, so at least we'll have a Vulkan backend, right? So then we
Yeah.
can have the iGPU usage at least.
Yes, yes, yes. Actually, I'll show the Luma UI later. But again,
Yeah,
like we do specifically support Strix, those machines that has 128 GB of DDR5, and you can, it's kind of like unified. The iGPU tries to utilize
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So people are running this. So we do support this as a remote specifically for the people who are running this only for the inference. So we are trying to support as much as hardware possible. But again, like what do I say? It boils down to like what community is wishing for. This is something that it was wished for. Like they were asking that I wanted to run this and I've been waiting for this for a long time and so and so. So we did this. But the same way, like nobody asked for an NPU. So we never looked into that. But again, like once we get that, like we will do that soon, maybe.
Definitely, yes, yes, yes. I mean, if I can help in any way, I'm using Lemonade, so right now, which is optimized for NPU usage. Only certain
Oh,
models,
okay.
though. Yeah, that's the
Okay.
problem. It's only certain models compatible with it.
Oh, is it? Okay. I'm not so sure of it. I don't have a machine that supports even Rock'em, to be honest. The community is the one like who gives machine or like test in their machine and give me feedback. To be honest, all the machines that apart from CUDA and Mac, I couldn't test anything else. It's everything is community. I just give the models or just give the containers and they test it for me and give it back. So I think like that's how we are doing it right now. But yeah, maybe I'll just test it out and push an update for you so that you can just test it out and tell us that whether it works or how it works and stuff like that.
That'd be
And we
awesome.
can do it. Yeah, yeah. I can, it would be really helpful.
Yes.
So yeah.
A lot of these new mini PCs have these NPUs or iGPUs at least. So I mean, yes, if we can utilize full power of that, then it's just as good as a desktop when it comes to using AI. What about in terms of content generation, Comfy, for example? Is the full suite compatible with non-CUDA environments as well, or is
Um
that more complicated?
Actually, it's bit complicated. Now I think so we have sorted out few things. For example, Comfy has support for CUDA and Mac out of the box. The developer supports it. But I also found that there is a Rock'em variant, but you have to do some prerequisite like installing the right AMD drivers on Linux and stuff like that. In Windows, I'm not so sure, but on Linux, there is a way to run it right now. But again, like Comfy UI, it's specifically built for CUDA and Metal right now. Even the developer doesn't support. So I think so. AMD has a lot of things they can do, but it's basically like how many users are using it. If you have a CUDA, you have a chance of like you have a lot of chance of running Ola, getting into models and stuff. When you purchase an AMD, most of the time you're into gaming and you just do that, and only few people for the price to performance ratio and also the VRAM that they give for a certain price, they just use it. So that's the reason I think so. Like a lot of application doesn't get support out of the box, but soon enough, after few months, people who has that and developer just gives an update. But I also saw that AMD is also trying too hard with their Instinct GPU right now. They are building base containers to make sure that any application that runs on CUDA can be used here with the GPU acceleration and all these things. And even that's how even the Clara core works now. We use an base container image that is given by AMD themselves. I think so. Like within like a 1 or 2 years, I think like they will be on par with CUDA when it comes to running all this, Comfy UI and Llama CPP without any issues. And also Strixhalo will get a more support. Now Strixhalo is like okayish, but they are not so good yet. They will soon get this whole thing sorted out. But I think so. AMD has great, price to performance ratio, but they are
Yes,
not
it
yet
really
in
does.
support.
We have a new computer coming out called the Minisforum MSS1 Max. This thing has got 128 gigs of DDLP500 RAM.
Oh, okay.
Unified memory, right? And it's got enough space for a full X16 PCIe GPU. So
Oh,
this thing's
okay.
gonna be a beast, brother. Right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Machine that is like, not power hungry, but it has a VRAM of like, 128 or something so that we can run at least a GLMR or something like that.
Oh,
So I can just go fully, local.
and you could run Qwen 3 Coda 480B quantized to Q2 or Q3. on that
Oh, okay.
with no problems at all.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so that makes sense. Like I will just surely contact you, man. Like I just needed a machine like that. I'm more inclined. Actually, we can get all the CUDA and AMD based machines here. But the only thing is like this iGPU variants and the things that China releases and we couldn't get our hands on. That's the one that I need actually. I'll surely, connect with you and check it out. Like that's something that I'm looking out for because as a developer, I need to have at least 80% of the hardware that I support instead of, always relying on the community because like it's kind of, slow and all those things are like, messy right now. Like I just depend on few people and that's how I just do my releases and all.
Yeah, no,
So,
fair
yeah.
enough. That computer is going to be released in the next 2 weeks. We're already taking pre-orders from customers. So yeah,
So this is basically RAG, not much to talk about, but what we do little bit different is that like you can visualize like how your data is stored and also like you can traverse through this whole data. To be honest, like for example, let's say Luma UI. So you can see that Luma UI is present here and how your data is connected with each other. And you can know that how good the entities and also your relationship between couple of documents matter. So this runs on Lightrack. Again, it's an open source project. Just for the namesake that we are building everything from ground up, I don't want to build everything from ground up. So I just thought like it's good, it works, so let's use it. And also it works pretty well. So now you can just have all those entities and all those things and you can just directly run them and you get pretty accurate results from here. That's like really good. To be honest, like I use it to give solutions. For example, this is for a Claraverse project where all the documents are uploaded here and you ask something and it would just give a pretty accurate results instead of just chunking and storing and using a traditional RAG.
yes,
This
yes,
is
yes.
kind of nice. This was one of an update that we did last 0.2.
Cool.
Yeah. And also one more thing is that you have this chat. Chat has been revamped like hell a lot of things now. Now you can attach a notebook as an, a kind of dictionary for your chat. So if you ask something, Claraverse notebook goes and fetches the detail you want and then you get the answers. So basically like you can have many notebooks. Let's say you have employee records if you're an HR or you're into this whole document stuff and you wanted to document each and everything and you wanted to get some data out of it. You don't just use notebook. If you want agents to be used, for example, read all those things, research about it and make sure to put it into Notion and you just connect it with, Notion MCP server, and you can do all those things here.
Wow.
So that's one thing that we have done now. And also you can share your screen and then, maybe this NVIDIA thing they showcased, right? Like the game, what is that? Game assistant. When you are inside a game, you ask for something and it can answer. Actually, you can do that here as well. You can share
Okay.
it.
Okay, great.
You
So
can share your
I could
screen.
watch games and like I could watch the cricket
Yes.
with AI.
Yeah, exactly. You can just click a screen that you wanted to share and then put it on voice mode so that now what happens is it can see your screen, it can have knowledge and also it can speak behind the scenes. So, you can attach whatever things that you want and also you can attach all the MCPs that you want and make a complex workflow here. So that's something that we were working on.
Yes.
And
Obviously you need a Vision LLM, right? In order to do that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You
Yeah.
need a vision LLM actually. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to do it. And also, yeah, one more thing, we have been working on artifacts. You know that artifacts that everybody is like into now, right now. So there is this artifacts that we have created. So now I'll just ask for a landing page or something like that. Landing page in HTML for a chatbot company or something like that.
Yeah.
You can have artifacts here and you can download it as if like you are doing with Claude and Open AI, Chat GPT or any other things like, or they all provide these artifacts for you. And we do support all kind of artifacts. For example, we do support flows, charts, HTML, and also you can run Python code directly. So you have pretty much everything here. There is something called memories right now. This is what we call Clara memories. Basically, as you speak with her, she will try to understand what you are and how you are and like what you like to talk about and all those things. And if you ask a specific thing in a specific way, always with ChatGPT and Claude, they tend to remember. Sometimes they didn't forget it. In this case, you can say something and it will just understand that. And next time it will make sure that it answers you in that way. So Clara Memories is like your assistant's brain. It just remembers about everything about you and it tries to be on the context. So that is one thing that we have updated now in that.
As we're creating the website, it's ended. Obviously, it's reached its context length, but it's continuing on.
Yeah. Actually, we have context summarizer inside. So when it tries to run something and if it fails, it will just compact the content and then it will start again or continue from there. Most of the time, it works with cloud hosted LLMs. But also, I think with local LLMs, once you hit that mark, I think so it tries to do okay. But I think so, like cloud LLMs are good with summarizing stuff because local LLMs tend to handle context poorly when it's reaching its limits because everything has been extended by fine tuning instead of the base model being supported here. So this is how it works. You can pretty much create any artifacts. For example, let me, create one
Will
new
it handle
chat
both?
and
The thing is, the reason I asked about it continuing on is because that's the biggest problem I have with web UI, creating websites and
uh,
things. If it runs out of context, I have to press the continue button for it to continue.
okay. No, here it just tries to stop for a bit, compacts the content, and then it starts again. It tries to do that very well, actually. And all the pain points in web UI have been tried to sort out here, but also our path is different from Open Web UI. They are just chat, and this is completely different from what they are trying to do. But again, when it comes to chat, I wanted to make sure that they feel like home. So that's why we just built this whole artifacts and all those things. Before, artifacts used to appear on, the chat itself, but now we thought like, why not? We'll just go and implement a new one. And then we did it this way. So even when it comes to flows, for example, explain the LLM architecture diagram, something like directly start using mermaid diagram to explain
Oh,
you how
okay.
it is and all those things. And then it will try to create artifact automatically and do stuff. So we have been working on a lot of things like this. Soon enough, I think so. Like we'll get mature on that. Again, we are on 0.3 now. So it takes a bit of a time to reach that point of maturity, how Open Web UI has it. But yeah, it's 6 months or 8 months, probably, I guess, like the first release. We have grown a lot of things better. And also, you can see that it basically creates this flow and you can just download them from here and just use it on your PPTs and all those things. And the next feature is you have personas. So we have this base persona, which is Clara. So if you wanted something like you wanted it to be like Claude, you can just download or copy the whole Claude's, pre-prompt or, their system prompt and then name your persona and have your emoji and all those things. So I'll just name her something, put an emoji and you can just select this persona on the go. And now it just switches that to the system prompts. You can create multiple personas and then you can store it and then you can switch it anytime you want. This doesn't work when you are into an chat. You have to create a new chat anyway, but still this will be helpful for the people who likes to have different personas for a different task and
Yes. So
work.
say, for
And
example,
also,
you're a social media manager, so you'll have one for Facebook, one for TikTok, one for
yeah,
YouTube, specially designed. Yeah.
exactly. And
Yeah, that's awesome.
otherwise, like you literally have image and here, and also you can upload documents and everything here. So I think like that's what a chat is about right now.
Yeah.
And basically, our motto was to like you have agents, RAG, and Luma UI, and you just connect everything into chat, and you can just use it completely from here. So that's what we have done. And also one more thing in agents is that now if you have a research agent that
Oh,
needs
nice.
to create you a post every day,
Yeah.
you just schedule it and say what is the input that it has to do or something like that based on your, agent. You can just do that. Or else you can just run the agent like an app. And we have released this Clara Flow SDK. You can just use it with any of your application. And I think like in 0.5, we will be giving a container where you can just click on launch and it would just have this agent running there. And this is something that even, what is that? OpenAI has released right now, I guess.
Yeah,
Like
with the
they have
agents
released
SD,
it.
but
Yeah, yeah.
it's not that impressive, really. It's as soon as I saw this, like the agent studio, I was like, I mean, yeah, this is pretty much it. Like, there's nothing different here.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking like they have nothing. It's like a content creator looking for some content. They are just looking for something to be released instead of actually doing some innovations, to be honest. So I'm seeing OpenAI that way right now. I like this GLM guys because like they are being a pioneer when it comes to releasing models, new ones. But I think like OpenAI is lagging behind. Only thing they were first to market and they have a bigger market share right now. So this is the one that we have been working for so long. I think like let's go and run this now.
Definitely, yes. Okay, question on an enterprise level, right? So let's say, for
Yeah.
example, your Clara SDK and your Clara inference engine works out really well. Say, like an enterprise business comes to you and they say, "Look, I want to run my data center off this engine." Would that be on the cards at some point for you guys to explore that?
Yes, yes, yes. Actually, now you can do it yourself, but soon enough, after maybe we reach this one version one, we are at 0.3 or 4 or something like that, right?
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
once we mature and we think like everything is stable enough, I think like there will be a one click solution to run this. And also you will have how much tokens you give for each people through Clara Core. So you can just tell that. And also for notebooks and all those things.
Yeah.
After that, it's pretty much basic like how OpenWeb UI works. I think so. Like we don't require that login and all those setup to run that because I feel like whatever the employee interacts with an AI, maybe if they wanted, we can just store it on Clara Core's side. But otherwise, like I don't think so. Like why they need to do that? By 1.0, I will just make sure that there is an enterprise release. Yeah, Clara Core is by separated. Now it's a separate, thing than Claraverse. Let me go down. Yeah, you can see that we are just currently working on this one. And once this is done, I think so Cloud Sync will be enabled. With you can use it for enterprise, not like how OpenWeb UI does. They have this,
Role-based access and everything
login
like that.
setup.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They have a lot of login setup and all those in for you. For a chat, I think so it's pretty impressive. They can use it for enterprise on day one. When it comes to Claraverse, I think so it's more of a personal thing rather than being an enterprise. But soon enough after we do this cloud sync and mobile app and all those things. This is done. We will release it soon and this is in works.
Yes.
With this,
Yeah.
Cloud Sync also will be a part of it. When Cloud Sync comes, I think so we will add this login and all those things. For now, we are not focusing on that because like I have to fix all the core parts before doing that.
Okay. What about in terms of like the inference engine that you've created for Clara?
Yeah, that is already you can use it actually. So
Okay. So
currently
how many people could message the LLM at once?
yeah, actually, you have pretty much, a lot of configuration that you can. So here, like you can increase the batch size and also you can increase the concurrency, like, and all those things you can tinker with. So with that, like you can just make sure that if the hardware supports it, you can just run it. Because this configuration that it has created is basically for single user. But let me bring this separately. Yeah, you can see that this configuration that we create is specific for one machine, but when you wanted to do it where like, two models should load and all those things, I can add support to that so that Clara Core can, load couple of models at the same time and also have batch inferencing. So I think that is doable. For now, it's locked because like we are focusing on one machine and one message at a time. But again, Llama CPP already supports it and Clara Core also will support it end of the day. So I think it's ready already. All you have to do is when you are doing it for the enterprise, you have to make sure that what changes has to be made. For now, it's mostly, it will just show all your models that you have in the folder and all those things for you. It's completely OpenAI compatible, actually. If somebody wants Llama CPP to be part of your OpenWeb UI, I think so. Instead of using Ollama, you can see that it just found like 34 models that is running on this. And you can just pick and select like what engine that you are running on and what is the compute backend that you want to do. And let's say you are running a Rock'em GPU. So you can just specifically say that this is the how many VRAM that I have and all those things, and you can do all those things yourself. And then you can see what is the maximum context that you want and all those things. And you just click on configure, right? Like it will configure everything for you because normally nowadays the problem is that like, people want the right configuration for each and every model for their setup. So instead of that, you don't need to think about all those things if you are going to host it. All you have to do is just set what is the GPU that you are running on, and what is your system RAM, and all those things. And then click on generate. So basically, Clara Core will take care of doing all these things for you. And also, meanwhile, if you wanted to download new models, it will just knows the hardware, it knows everything. You can just download it. And people who are using OpenWeb in enterprise will have this model added to their list automatically. So this is much more better. And also, you don't need to wait for Ollama to release their things, or do that Ollama setup to run the GGUFs on Ollama. All you have to do is just go to downloader and just ask for a model. Let's say 120B. You want that
Get it at
120B.
full speed, full context without having to mess
Yeah,
around. Yeah,
exactly.
that's a huge problem right now, and that's a huge problem you've solved actually.
Like if you wanted a quick inference, you can just load a model. I'm just loading it right now. So once it loads, you can just use Llama CPP with it. Like, this Ollama has this one thing, right? I forgot. They just released this small chat. You might have heard about it.
Yes, yes,
So
yes,
you
yes.
can, yeah, you can do that with Clara Core itself. Like you don't need the Clara client for just chat. You can just load them up and you can just run it directly without anything. All you need is like just Clara Core running on your machine, and you can inference with any models you want actually directly. You don't need to do a lot of things for that. So I think so. It's pretty much drop-in replacement for Ollama, whoever uses with Open Web UI. They don't need to do a lot of fiddling around with Llama CPP. So this is what Clara Core is all about.
Okay. And for those people that are probably watching this video, can you just want to show them quickly how to install Clara Core if it's separate?
So for now, it's basically like one line. All you have to do is just go to releases, and for Linux, you just click on this, and for Windows, you just run it in your PowerShell. That's all you have to do. For example, let me show you it. Just go to Power and just paste this and just click on enter. It will just download all the things that you need, and it'll just directly start running. So it just starts automatically when your machine starts. So that's all you have to do to run Clara Core on your machine. So you can see that, yeah, this is how it works. And if you wanted to configure, you can do that. Or else if you wanted to run it yourself, just say Clara Core, and you can see that it's running, and you can just type Clara Core and you can just do all the inference and all those things. And also, if you have a bunch of GGUF already running on your system, you can just attach them directly. For example, I have just made a fresh one, right? So now I can just say that I have a model, and you can just point out the folder that you have all these models on, and it will do all these things for you. So basically, if you are using LM Studio already, or you have a bunch of GGUF lying around, you can do that. Or else you can just go and download models directly, and it will do all those things for you. And also you have activity and what is the token per seconds and all those things for you, and you have logs. And kudos for the Llama swap guy. They created all this basic stuff for us, and I just happened to add all those things that they were missing, and we made it a part of Claraverse now. So now you can handle all those things. And if Llama CPP has a update for, let's say, a new model, you can just go and force update, and it would just update it. So that's how this whole thing works. It just takes 2 or 3 minutes to get it started.
Sure, of course. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So then once we install, we just type in Clara Core, open up the port, localhost slash port slash UI, or would that automatically
Yeah.
connect to that?
Soon enough, like there will be an Ollama like installer soon, but we haven't completed it since like it's like huge work for me in order to like, focus on an electron based application and also on this. And also we do support, all these four Docker. You can see the similarities in Claraverse itself. Like you can see all these four things are supported, right? So basically we have just used this inside that. So that's how it works currently. You can just run this one and say which are the model folders, and it would just run on your, Docker as well. So this is what Clara Core is like. It just takes care of everything what Ollama does for you. So yeah, these are the updates that we have done so far actually. So most of things are like, community has asked for it. These are the things that, make goes wrong and all those things. So we have done that. So you can see now this, Luma UI, it plans for something. You don't need to give a lot of prompts for it. How does Bolt work is like, that's how Luma UI works as well. Bolt also released Bolt DIY, right? The same way. You also have
Yeah. Yeah.
editor and all those things. You don't need to go through all those thing of deployment. All you do is just install Clara Core, and bring your own provider. Like for me, GLM works well.
Mhm.
Just do it and then just deploy it and use it. So that's the thing about Luma UI. So this is one of the biggest update that we gave for this. So it can install anything for you, and it can handle all those. You don't need to spin up and just a lot of tokens on them. Instead, like just bring your local LLMs to make small changes and all those things and just use
Yes.
it. So this is
Love
what.
that confidence score, bro. Like that's a really smart move.
Which one? You mean
That
this one?
that yeah, that confidence score at the end of each message.
Yeah. Actually, it has this. This is part of Clara's agent, chat, right? So it behind the scenes, whenever it does something, it just creates a confidence score whether that I have really completed this particular task. If not, should I continue? So if there is a confidence score that it is 90% continue, it will just keeps on running it. Whenever it just says that I don't need to continue and I have a confidence score of like 100%, it just stops. Until then, it can just run even for half an hour until it completes the whole. And also, it's pretty good at maintaining the context because each and every call compresses the context and then it provides it. So it just has this current situation, what is happening right now, what I have to do, and what is the reasoning, and then it does it. So you don't need to go and correct it. It will try to self correct, to be honest. So yeah, I wanted to match how bold and lovable, and also there is this new one in town, Orchid. All those people are, so I want to make sure that all these things happens here as well. Like as you can see, it just creates all these things and slowly it will just update. Once it replaces the page, it just comes up, and you can use local models as well. Like it just works. The bigger the model, the better it is. Like you can't use a 4B model to do this because most of the time the agentic works fails in between.
Yeah.
But the previous version of Luma UI, you can use even a smaller model, but it's only constrained to HTML pages, which is, to be honest, it's bad. So I wanted to make sure that you can run white, React, and also you can also use Belt, Vue, anything that today's LLMs are trained on. So I was just working on the onboarding process actually.
Okay.
So yeah. That
Yeah.
onboarding is very important because like people tend to be like what are these? Like I don't know what is chat and what it offers and all those things. So we were working about it. So yeah. So it's now for you question like what do you think of the product now? How it is from the day one you saw it and how it is right now?
Huge improvements, brother. Yeah, definitely. It's been you guys have been working hard. I can see that very clearly. And compared to what like Luma UI used to be, and just focusing on that, even like it's just yeah, the difference is night and day. Of course, yes, there can be some refinements as we know, but I mean, for what you guys are doing, it's just incredible. So yeah, I mean, I will always have good things to say about Clara. You know that, and I'll try my best to also be as neutral as possible when it comes to these issues. Like obviously you and I have identified a few on this call now, but it's really little things, man. Like everyone's shipping software right now, and everyone's really shipping it fast and not caring about quality, right? Trying to
Yeah.
get users, but at least you guys are identifying what the cracks are, and you guys are actively working on them, which I don't think many other people are at the moment. Like look at Void, for example. Void was
Yeah.
supposed to be the open source cursor, but it's just the dead project now.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to them actually. Previously, I was thinking like they will be great and like they will be doing a lot of things. But at last, when I just went and saw their project recently, because like I was working on Luma UI and I was wondering like what is their agent look like? And it's pretty much backwards, to be honest. Like they haven't updated anything.
And like even on Mac, for example, their MCP servers just don't work, right? You can't connect to any MCP servers, or whether it's Python or it's just a waste of time. What I'm trying to say is Clara could have ended up like that, but you've chosen not to do that, right? And that's only a sign of success moving forward for you guys.
Yeah, whatever we do, I think like if we start this and there are people backing it up, I think so. Like it's only way to go. Like we have to continue. And also, I see a lot of people using this. I don't want it to stop it. I don't know what's wrong with
How many
what is that?
downloads are you on now?
I think like we were around like 23,000 or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. 23,000, and also we do get a lot of people giving us a lot of funds as well, like contributing to us. It's not a lot for me, it's a lot because like it's around like 300 to $400, but it helps me with purchasing all this agents and stuff. As you see, this is the page that it created, and it's not by far backwards. Like you can just do all these things locally, like you can just use Quen or something like that and do the same if you have a right GPU. So this is what I wanted to build, because bold, lovable, and all those things are close with what model they use and what they do and all those things. I think like this is how it should have been. Like you can just bring your own keys and use it, because like they have built this nice software that you can use, and why it's not being, utilized. So something like that. And now you can just go ahead and, log in with your Google or GitHub or something like that. You'll deploy it into your Netlify and just use it as like how, Bolt does it. So you can pretty much install any libraries. Let's say like I just wanted to add GSAP animations, add some, yeah, you can do that. Add some GSAP animations or something like that. Like it will just download that, library for you and do all those things for you. And also like it's pretty much like both. I'm currently using it myself. So this is something that we were excited to ship this year actually. It can do a lot of things for you. And also one more thing, like we also released community. So basically, you can share your notes that you create. You know, agents, right? So all the agents that you see out there are like they give you some notes, and that's what the notes that you have. In Claraverse, like you can just create your own note for your own purpose. I think, like, let's say you want a search XNG, node. Create a node that go and use instance and give result, something like that. So yeah, you can just build your own notes, and then in the community you can just go ahead and if you have some content that you have, you can click and share resources with others. You can see that already, this fire crawl and few things were added by some people. This was just recent release last time, so these all things are being added as well. So soon enough, like there will be agents, and also you can share your Luma UI applications and stuff like that. So people can just download it from here. And also there is one more thing as well. Like when you download, you don't know what kind of nodes you are downloading. So basically, you can run a security scan on the code that they have provided. And if it says that this code is fine, like you can just use it, actually you can go ahead and use it. Or else like you can just go through what it does and what is it doing, and is there something fishy. It would just flag it as like dangerous one, and even if one user does that, it will be just flagged and it just hides itself, so that it doesn't go and install without knowing. For example, you can see that there is a security scan and whatever that has been done and all these things, and once that is done, you can just proceed with downloading. And now if you go to Luma UI, you have this fire crawl, node. So basically like it's just drag and drop and download custom nodes for your application, and you just you can use it. So this is what we have changed with agents. So now, but soon enough, the next update would be, instead of create node, you can just create agents yourself. You just say that what your agents has to do, and all these blocks and connections will be done for you. And basically you just try it and wipe code with it, and you just get an output. So this is something that we are working on as well. So I think like
Yeah.
to wrap up, I think that's it, to be honest. Like nothing else. Widgets has been the same, nothing much. There is few GPU monitors and all these things widgets added for. Otherwise, I think so. That's it. Those are the things that have been added. But best update is the remote server and Luma UI and chat. So I would wrap it up with that.
Yeah, I think the remote server alone is yeah, that's such a powerful feature, man. Especially with people that have they still have toasters for laptops, but they have like a nice gaming PC.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So they could just offload that to that and still be portable, on the go. That's
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
really, yeah, that was a really smart move. So with the server IP and host name, could I put like a Cloudflare tunnel in there as well?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just IP or host name or anything like that. Like you can just put your tunnel as well. Like it works because I use it that way. And also my preference would be Tailscale. That's pretty good, to be honest. Better than Cloudflare tunnel. Because currently I use Tailscale to make sure that everything is in one network, like a VPC or something like that in Amazon.
Mhm.
And you can just use it flawlessly, and it's free as well. When it comes to Cloudflare, you need to have some domain or something like that. And sometimes like it's kind of finicky. You have to know like how the tunnel works and all those things. For a base user, I think so Tailscale is the one that they should probably go with. And I've been using Tailscale. It's pretty good. I think like everybody should use it. I didn't discover it until like I just tried it, and it just works on any machine, to be honest. Like I've just run Tailscale on my Raspberry Pi and my machine and my Mac and everything, and it just works. You don't need to do a lot of things with it. All you have to do is just have a GitHub account or something like that, and you can just use it. So basically, like I would suggest like everybody to move from, all this Cloudflare tunnels and all those things, instead go with tile scale. That's something that I found that it's working pretty well than, the all the solutions that was out there before.
Okay. You heard it here, guys. Go to tailscale.com right now. Link is in description below. Awesome. Now I really appreciate your time, my bro. I've taken up a lot of your time right now. Definitely go back to being amazing. And yes, looking forward to seeing the new release. And I'll definitely cover it separately on the channel as well.
Sure, sure, sure.
Cool. All right,
Yeah.
sweet. Well, clearly they have been busy, and we're looking forward to seeing what they come up with in the future and all the new updates that are to come. And as mentioned as well, we will release a follow-up video covering the updates from a user's point of view so we can see it in action. Until then, thank you so much for watching. Just consider like, sharing, and subscribing. If you need computers, you know who to reach out to. If you need to know anything about open source AI, you know who to reach out to, and really looking forward to seeing how this landscape shapes based on the crazy, crazy valuations that are happening with closed AI companies. What's going to happen with the open source space now that this technology is getting so good? Definitely keeping my eyes peeled for that one.